All right, welcome to another video. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. Today's video is part 2 of a beginner's guide to Fortnite. In today's video, we're going to be going over settings. So we're going to go over settings that you absolutely need to change, and then there are some settings that you should look at once you've played a little bit, once you've gotten comfortable, or perhaps once you've adjusted the settings that you absolutely need to change. And while I'm showing you how to adjust the settings, I'm going to show you a couple builds that you should teach yourself. One is really important, the other is really good to know. So the sooner you can teach yourself that build, a ramp build, then the better. You're going to be much better off when you get into your first match. So this is a 3-part series. This is part 2. In case you missed part 1, I will link it in the top right of the screen, so you can check it out if you want to. So it's a lot of information. Let's get into it. First, we want to go over here to our settings. So we're going to go over here into these settings, and we are going to go over all of the settings, but like I said, I'm only going to point out the ones that are important. So in the first tab here, you can see the tab on top. This is the graphics tab. There really isn't, I wouldn't mess with anything. Now if you go down here where it says motion blur, you might want to think about it, but I would adjust settings first and everything while you're making the adjustments to your settings. I would try this, but I don't recommend using it, to be honest. So it's just there if you want to. And in here, the colorblind settings. If you are colorblind, I don't recommend these settings either. For those of you that don't know, I am colorblind and I don't use them. They're horrible. They don't help. They make everything look ugly. So yeah, I definitely don't recommend the colorblind settings. So nothing to change here in the first tab. Our next tab is language and region. Your region is going to be set to auto, which is perfect. So down here in the movement section, the toggle to sprint, I don't use it, but you see there it tells you what it is. So set sprint to be an on-off toggle. When you push down on the stick, that's how it will set it. It's a horrible setting. I really wouldn't mess with it. You want to make sure sprint by default is on. You definitely want sprint by default on. Sprint cancels reloading. I think it's set that way anyway. So here's one of the settings I'm talking about: auto open doors. By default, this setting is off. I like it on. It helps me a little bit. I don't have to really open the door manually, so I like it. But this is one of the settings that I was talking about, where play a little bit and then give this one a try and see if you like it. You know, it's up to you. Everybody's different. Down here, hold to swap pickup. Everything's off. I really don't recommend any. This mark danger when targeting should be on. If it's not, one that I really recommend that's not on by default is this auto sort consumables to the right. Basically, any of your healing items are automatically sorted to the right when you turn this on. I definitely recommend doing that. But that's one of those settings that you can figure out once you start playing. Now, reset building choice, this one, and the confirm edit on release. These two settings, it's going to be up to you. Right now, I wouldn't worry about these settings, but once you get a little comfortable with it, then I highly recommend confirm edit on release. It's a very good feature. It tells you what it does. I'll show you a little later what it does. So I highly recommend this. And you see here the reset building choices. This is up to you. So it basically, as you're building, whatever the last build you did will stay there. But if you turn this on, then it resets automatically to the default build. So it doesn't make any sense right now, but this is one you're going to want to consider after you know what you're doing a little bit. So let's keep going. Don't worry about it right now. So extra game options, you see invert view, invert airborne controls. So in Fortnite, a lot of seasons we'll get vehicles we can fly, like helicopters and planes. So I definitely recommend inverting the airborne controls, but this is something that's going to be on a person-to-person basis. Some people will like it, some people won't. You know, you're going to have to try your first flying vehicle and see. I have it on, I like it on. So, and here is your replays. So this is where you can record replays. I'm not sure what the default is on this, but it's really up to you. If you decide you want to use replays, you can have it record replays for you. And the record large, so this is if you want to record in a different, besides solos, besides the main game modes, this will record other game modes. Record creative mode. So yeah, I have all the recording off. I turned them off. So let's move on. Here's your HUD scale. So your HUD scale, this is 100%. What this is a mini map that's up in the top right, and you can resize the mini map by adjusting this setting right here. So this is the only setting in the HUD options that I would really adjust. Otherwise, I would leave all these default. There's really nothing you need to worry about in here. But this, you see, I didn't change it. I like to be able to see my mini map. But some players like to make it smaller so they can see more of the map, more of the actual map, not the mini map. You're gonna have to play for a while before you can figure out whether you or not you want to adjust this. But just know that this is an option if you decide. So here's for the sensitivity on the mouse and keyboards. So you PC players, this should be self-explanatory for you. I don't play on PC, so I really can't tell you anything about it. Now we move over to the important stuff, the controller settings, and these settings are the settings that you absolutely 100% need to change and adjust. So we're going to take a deep look at these. This goes for Xbox, Switch, PlayStation. Just know also, if you play on multiple platforms, each platform you play on, you're going to need to adjust these settings, and they won't always match. So like these settings are for my PlayStation. These are not the settings I use on Xbox. I adjust them a little bit because the console plays a little bit different, so I've adjusted them a little bit different. But they're similar. They're very similar, just a little different, if that makes sense. So the first one is the controller auto run. This is more of a toggle, so you can double click your stick. I definitely recommend leaving this on. If it's not on, put it on. Build immediately, Builder Pro you want on. We're gonna set everything to Builder Pro. So for beginners, Builder Pro is the way to go. We're gonna get into that settings in a little bit, and you definitely want to be on Builder Pro. So now this setting, edit hold time, I would worry about after you practice a little bit. Then you can come in and adjust this, and I'll show you how to adjust it. The slide hold time is a new feature. So in Fortnite now, your character can slide as you're running. Excuse me. So this is, you know, how long you have to hold the stick down, because you have to hold the stick down. But so I have it longer because you also push the stick to crotch. So you push your right stick to crotch, and if you hold the right stick, then it'll slide. So if I have this set too low, a lot of times it'll start sliding when I just want to crouch. So that's why I set it a little longer. But you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. Vibration, I definitely turn it off. Don't bother, it's distracting. So this is my recommendation, but it's up to you. It's the personal preference. Sensitivity, very important settings here. So by default, you're gonna see that these sensitivities are on. So it's for normal. You definitely want to turn this off and go into advanced settings. The build mode, I believe 1.0 is default. I would leave it at default for now till you get to know what you're doing. You can then increase it, but for now you can leave it either at default or lower a little bit until you get used to building. Use advanced options will be off by default, so you definitely want to turn these on. Once you turn this on, then all of the settings underneath will open up for you, and you'll be able to adjust these settings. So look horizontal speed, your look speed, we're gonna adjust, and I'm gonna show you how to adjust it. So for me, I don't like any boost in my look, but you can do, so it gives you a burst of speed when you first touch it to look, and then it will slow down. But it'll mess with you in game, so I would recommend leaving these at 0. Instant boost when building, don't bother with that. You're not there yet. The ADS settings are very important. So this is also very personal preference. Some people do it the same way that the look sensitivity is set. So let's say here, some people would set it right there to 20. Was it 20, 15, 16? So you can start off there. You're really gonna have to start off at a point and then just figure it out. So I have mine set different by 10 degrees, so I have the boost set on this, and I'll show you why I have the boost set on this. I like it that way. A lot of people don't. A lot of people will just, the same way, like I said, the look sensitivity, they'll turn all of the boost off and just set the sensitivity a little higher. So the sensitivity somewhere around 16 or 14. The thing also that you need to know is that every season that starts, the settings are going to change a little bit. I don't know what Epic Games does, but the metadata changes. So like last season, I think I was running at 4% and I was running at 14% on the boost. And then some seasons I've ran at 6% with 16% at the boost. I always leave it at a 10% increase on the boost, which is why the turning boost ramp time is set to 10 seconds. 10 seconds is, like I said, you can figure all this out, but to start with, I would probably say just do it the same way you do the look sensitivity. So turn all the boost off and then just turn the sensitivity, say to 16%, and see what that feels like to you. So if you don't know, it's ADS, it's aim down sight. So I'll show you when we get in game. But these are settings, these two settings here, you definitely need to adjust, or the experience is not going to be good for you. Here's also another important setting that you need to figure out, which is linear as opposed to exponential. So these are your look inputs. Linear basically is just the raw stick input. So as soon as you touch your stick, your character is going to move. On an exponential setting, it slowly increases in time. So if you push your stick, it doesn't instantly move right away. It ramps up, so it takes a minute before it starts to move. So this is a personal preference. I prefer linear, but exponential is, as a lot of people do like exponential. So it's really a 50-50. It depends on you. Now, if you do decide to go with exponential, you definitely want to figure this out before you start your game. So if you do decide to go with exponential, then I definitely, on the ADS, there's no need for the boost. So this is one of the reasons that I have boost on my ADS, is because I use linear, and the boost acts as exponential. But see, it acts as exponential only when I'm aiming down sight. It doesn't do it when I'm running. If you go with exponential, it'll do it when you're running, when you're looking, when you're aiming. It's always on a boost, like an exponential. So on linear, like I said, it's a raw stick input. So as soon as you touch the stick, it moves. And so now my ADS is set so that it kind of acts exponentially, if that makes sense. Let's keep going. We'll get into all this later. So your dead stick zones also, you need to figure out. These are generally excuse me, darn it. These are generally 6% to 12%, I believe, somewhere in that area. You want it set as low as you can before your stick starts to drift. So the idea is just set it low and see if your stick drifts. And then you can see here, oh, you see I get a pretty instant touch. And you can see it's kind of moving, and I do get that. But if I go, so the lower you go, the more chance there is of movement. If the higher you go, the less chance there is of the stick drifting. Anyway, I like them at 10%. So let's go down here. The adaptive triggers is only because it's PS5. So this only shows up on the PS5 for adaptive triggers. I turn all that off. It's distracting. You don't want that while you're playing. And I believe that's the end there. Yes, it is. So let's get into the sound. So the sound, this is the main, your game sound, which I don't recommend adjusting, but you see here I have the music at 25%. So this is the music while you're in the home screen, while you're not in a game. And this, by default, it's set to 100. But it's loud. I don't like it, so I definitely, you can figure that out for yourself, but that's not something that 100%, that's not something that you need to do. It is an option though. 3D headphones, again, by default is off because of the PS5, but yeah, this is a personal preference. You know, you can turn them on because they give you spatial. So, but they're only recommended for stereo headphones. So if you're using stereo headphones, this setting works pretty good actually. So before I was playing on the PS5, I was playing on the PS4, and I would use it on the PS4. It would work rather good. So it gives you spatial awareness, so you can hear where people are coming from or where chests are. You can hear things in game. So, but that's up to you. Here's one setting that, again, you're gonna have to decide as you play. Visual sound effects. Some people like them, some people don't. I honestly didn't like them for the longest time. I recently started using them, and I kind of got used to it. It is kind of distracting. If it shows up while I'm showing you in game, then I'll show you what visual sound effects is. Again, not something 100% necessary. Voice chat. These settings are pretty much default, so I would just leave them the way they are. Open mic. If you want to push to talk mic, you can use push to talk, but you know, I like an open mic. Now, very bottom here, you see creator options, license audio. There is a lot of copyright music in Fortnite, so if you're planning on streaming or making videos with Fortnite, you have the option to mute all the copyright audio. It will mute only the copyright audio. So if you're planning, like I said, if you're planning on doing anything creative with Fortnite, I definitely recommend turning it off, and you won't have to worry about it. So if you're planning to make videos or you're planning to stream Fortnite, you definitely want to put this to mute all, to shut down all copyright music. So even if another player is playing copyright music, no copyright music will come through your audio, as long as this is set. This is set to play by default. So, you know, if you're not planning on making videos or streaming, then you definitely want to play it all. You want to let it all play. It's fine. The next setting is keyboard binds. So you PC players, here's your keyboard settings. Here's where you can adjust every little thing, whatever you can think of. You can set up nice, So yeah, I'm sure you guys can figure this out. If you're a PC player, I don't think it'll be hard for you. Now here's for my controller players. Off on the left there, you see I have 5 choices. Like I said, stick with Builder Pro. This basically changes all of the controller binds. So just definitely for now, stick with Builder Pro, learn it. Once you get advanced, then you can come and give the other settings a try if you like, but definitely Builder Pro is the most common used setting. And final tab is your account. If you do buy stuff from Fortnite, you can request a return for your V-Bucks back. Just be cautious. They give you 3 when you first start, and then after you use those 3, they only give you 1 a year. So every year you only get 1 return available a year. So just be cautious with that. And here's some settings, some social privacy settings you can go over. All of these are pretty self-explanatory. Hide your link name accounts. It does show, I'll show you. It does show every platform I play on when you look me up. So if you look up my name, it will show you every platform that I play on and every name for that platform. So that's what that is. All these other auto import friends is always on. It's fine. I'll allow cross-platform play, so you can turn it off. By default, I believe it's on. I didn't change it, so you definitely want, I don't know what you want, but you have the option to turn it off if you want. And then anonymous mode is when you're in game, your display name is displayed in game, so you can turn this on so that people don't know that it's you while you're in game. So that's what this setting is. It's an option. Some people like it, again, personal preference. And let's go back to these settings really quick, these controller settings. So here, like I said, to start, I would say set them where the lines are. Set everything except for the boost to the line. And then we're gonna go in game and adjust these in game. So let's do that now. No, don't save. Okay. Now, how we're gonna go in game and adjust these is, like I said in the first video, when I want to practice or when I want to learn, I don't go to creative, I go to Battle Lab. I like to use Battle Lab, and I like to use Battle Lab because Battle Lab puts you in the same map that you're going to play in. If you go to creative is maps that people have created. You're not going to be playing in the map of the game. Whereas Battle Lab, you will. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to go in and I'm going to show you how to adjust these settings. Okay, so here we are in Battle Lab. We are going to show you how to adjust settings. So first thing you want to do is get down, grab some weapons, grab some materials to build with. We need those to adjust our settings. And we need weapons to figure out our settings on the weapons. So as you can see, I'm just going to destroy everything, and it gives me materials there off to the right. So I already have enough wood. There's a chest here. I have plenty of wood. So let's grab some weapons. We're gonna figure out our settings first. Okay, so first thing you want to do is go into the menu here, into the settings, and if, like I say, if you watch my first video, you'll know how to do this. And we're gonna go over to the controllers. So first I'm going to show you how to adjust your look settings. We will talk about builds this when we get to the building settings, this settings for building anyway, because there's really only that one setting for building that you want to adjust. So here, this is the look sensitivity. So I'm going to show you, I'm at 35%, I'm going to go up to 50%. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Right now we're going to concentrate only on our look sensitivity. You want to do one at a time. So if you look down on the bottom right, you'll see apply and test. Right there, follow the arrow. Apply and test. We're going to apply and test. And this is, see, this would make me dizzy. So I'm pushing my stick as far as I can push it to see how fast it moves, and I cannot see a thing. I'm already getting dizzy. So to get back to the settings, we just push the menu, and if we had pushed apply and test, it brings us right back to the settings menu. So now I'm going to take it down to the line here where they recommend, which is 16%. And we're going to apply and test that, and now look. Again, I'm pushing the stick as hard as I can, and this is how fast it is. So that's how you're going to figure out what settings are good for you. See, this setting isn't bad. It's very nice. It's a little slow. You're definitely going to want to be able to turn around a little faster, but if this is where you need to start, that's fine. Start there. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So I recommend starting slower, and then as you get used to it, increase slowly. So like by 5% or something like that. So I already know what I like, and that is 35%. So I'm going to apply and test that. So you see it's fast, but it's not too fast. It's the perfect speed for me, which is why we are here to figure out the perfect speed for you. So that perfect speed for me is not going to be the perfect speed for you. So now let's talk about weapons. So I talked about it a little bit in the settings. So I want to show you, I'm going to use this guy. Let's say this guy were a real player. He is in fact an NPC. So you see, I can see the dot. I can move my dot and the screen doesn't get jittery. And if I push all the way, now of course I have to push lightly to get it to, and if I push all the way, I have a little bit of speed. I can move fast if I need to. And I can move slow if I need to without the screen jumping on me. So I'm going to show you in the settings what would happen if, let's say, I put it here where they recommended and I didn't use any boost at all. So this is what this looks like. So now, no matter how lightly I touch the stick, you see how it kind of jumps. I could force it very, very lightly to do that, but it's a lot of effort while you're playing. You know, so you get excited and you're, you know, so it's really hard to so lightly touch on the stick. Let's go get that. Oh man. So yeah, see, I can't hit anything, so it throws my aim off. So let's go back into the settings now, because I don't like that. You can always slow it down. So the slower your setting is going to be, the more chance you have of being accurate. But you see, like I said, look, I'm lightly touching it. I'm going to touch it the same way. That didn't sound good, but let me put it back to the way I had it. Let me show you the difference. 18. So again, this is always 10% more. So if you set it to 4, you want the boost at 14% and with a 10-second boost. So let's apply and test this. So now I'm lightly touching the stick, but I'm not touching it too lightly, but it still moves slow. And then, like I say, when I need that burst of speed, then I got it. So that's why I have mine set the way I do. And it's difficult to see while you're watching, but if you test this in game like I'm showing you, you'll see the difference, and you can decide what you like. Everybody's different. Like I said, you can't just set the one to just without a boost, and that's fine. A lot of people play that way, and that's how you set your ADS, and it works for all weapons. So you really only need one weapon. You know, like I said, here I have precision. This is comfortable for me. Again, my settings might not be comfortable for you, or they might be comfortable for you. You might like that way, but you need to figure it out. So the last setting we need to talk about here is this build sensitivity, this build mode sensitivity. And I'm going to show you what it is. So you see the ramp, how the ramp follows me? Okay, now watch. If I turn this down, I'm pushing the stick at the same speed, but look, it's not as fast. If I move it up, let me move it up to say 2. Watch what happens. I can barely see that, you know, but you're sweaty. When you become sweaty, you're gonna need it this high. 2 is really high. People that play on 2 are just professionals. That's incredible. So I like it at 1. 1 works for me. So it's fast, but it's not too fast, you know. Again, every setting is per person, so everybody's different. Nobody's gonna be the same. So you just need to figure it out. That's the build setting that you need to figure out. Edit sensitivity does a similar, but you are not going to be editing right now, so you worry about that later when you learn. So now I promised 2 builds. 1 build you absolutely need to know. Another build you do need to know, but you can take your time learning. Let's get into the first build, which is boxing yourself in. And say you're taking fire, the first thing you want to do is build a wall. And what you want to do is build another wall, box yourself in. Self-explanatory. So, why isn't it editing? The thing that you want to learn to do, the reason that you need to practice. So build a wall, run up to it, turn. Again, see how as you get close to it, it moves away. You want to get as close as you can. Now the way you do this fast is just hold the trigger down and then turn. And there, look how fast you boxed up. That's what you want to teach yourself. I don't know why it's acting funny. Anyway, okay, so this is the one build that you want to teach yourself, the one build that you need to learn. You need to learn to box up fast. So when you're taking fire, you can immediately protect yourself. The other build that you need to learn is how to build a ramp. So you can do this like that and ramp up, but this is very dangerous. You don't want to do that. You can do that in the beginning, but you're gonna pay for it, because if somebody shoots this bottom ramp down, look, the whole ramp goes. And if you're up there, you're gonna fall to your death. You do take fall damage. So what you want to learn is to build yourself at least this, a wall, and then a ramp. So wall and then a ramp, ramp and then a wall, ramp and a wall, ramp and a wall. Now there are, see, so it's ramp and a wall. So at least they have to shoot the wall and then shoot the ramp, and it's gonna take quite a bit more effort to knock you down off of your ramp if you build it that way. Let's pick up some more mats. I'm running out of mats here. Okay. Oh, okay. Now you can do, there's one more way. You want to build a wall, a ramp, and a floor. That's the best way. So that's what you want to learn. You want to teach yourself to ramp up. It takes time, but that's what it would look like. And you see I messed up there. But this is going to be the most difficult for them to destroy your ramp, to knock you down. So you definitely want to learn to do that, teach yourself to do that. Although it's not necessary before you start, but you do want to learn how to do this. You should 100% teach yourself how to do this. It just takes practice. And there's no particular order. You're going to have to figure out what's easiest for your brain to remember. But it's a wall, floor, and a ramp. A wall, floor, and a ramp. You can do floor, wall, ramp, ramp, floor, wall. It doesn't matter. You just have to figure it out, practice. Whatever comes natural to you, that's what you want to do. So that's it. Those are the two builds that you need to teach yourself. You need to practice. And you definitely want to do it in Battle Lab, because like I said, here in Battle Lab you can explore, you can talk to these players, you can go and search the whole map. This is the map that you're going to be playing in. That's why I don't recommend creative. And creative, they don't allow you to play in this map. So this is the game map here. Battle Lab allows you to play in the game. You can go explore, you can check things out, you can drive cars, practice driving, you can practice driving those four-wheel cars, those four-wheel drive cars, those the ATVs or whatever they're called, the quad runners. Jesus. You can get the Spider-Man mythic from the Daily Bugle and practice swinging with Spider-Man. There's Spider-Man this season. You can do that all here in Battle Lab. There's no storm. There's no other real players. So it's completely just you and the NPCs and the animals. The animals will try to kill you. So I would get some weapons. Why are there no sharks? There's always flipping sharks, and there's no sharks. You can fish, you can practice fishing, you can practice everything in Battle Lab. So that's gonna do it for this video. That's gonna do it for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. I hope I helped you in some way. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Help support the channel. And till next time.